It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Security Dialogue Stakeholder Session on community-based solutions to addressing kidnapping. This session is for traditional rulers. My name is Andrew Akpo Malaki. I'm an adjunct professor of cybersecurity and intelligence engineering at the Ontario College of Management and Technology. I'm also the host and presenter of the weekend show. I'll tell you why we are here. We all know that since 2008, Nigeria has faced tons of security issues, from the insurgency in the northeast, where some of you are from, and you've seen how over 8 million people have been displaced. At some point, the number was over 12 million. Now, our law enforcement agencies and the government has done their little bit of their might to ensure that security is being taken care of. But threats also evolve and security challenges also evolve. And so because of the displacement of some of the insurgents and terrorists in the northeast, we've now seen some of them move to the northwest. We've seen them move to other places, which has now led to a bigger problem which we now have across the country, which is kidnapping. As of today, every state in Nigeria experiences one form of kidnapping or the other. The most popular is kidnapping for ransom. But it has even gotten worse that the problem has evolved to the point that sometimes they kidnap for ransom. But it has gone to the point that sometimes they kidnap and people pay the ransom and they still kill the victims. Then they now go on to demand for money to release the body of the victims. And then people have to pay. It even gets worse that at some point, the people who go to deliver the ransom now are now even being killed. And so this is now a very criminal offense that is borderline terrorism. And we've had this conversation, is kidnapping terrorism? Is kidnapping for ransom affecting national security in the country? In February 2022, the federal government of Nigeria and the United Kingdom signed an agreement called the Security Defense Partnership on how to collaborate to ensure that security is a priority in Nigeria. And so over the last 1 year, the National Crime Agency under the United Kingdom government has come to partner with Nigeria to ensure that one, we communicate our solutions effectively, and two, to build capacity of our law enforcement agents and stakeholders in the different spaces to ensure that we fight this together. Over the last 12 months, we've had a series of dialogues and workshops like this with the media, with different law enforcement agencies. And today, we cannot do this without hearing from you, our elders. We cannot do this without having the real stakeholders tell us what the problems are and how we can address these problems based on your experience and from a community perspective. We've also been in partnership with the National Counterterrorism Center under the Office of the Office of National Security Advisor, where we had the training with the media and law enforcement. The national coordinator was meant to be here, but he's unavoidably absent because he was called for another meeting on this. So the outcomes of today's meeting would be put together in a report and submitted to the Office of the National Security Advisor, to the National Crime Agency, and this would also be put in the media to show that the traditional rulers, who in most cases people still come to blame you people for the problems in your community, this is to ensure that your opinion matters, your solutions are taken into cognition, and we can use this to fight this issue. And so today we will be having a security dialogue, stakeholder session on community-based solutions to addressing kidnapping. And this first session is with traditional rulers.
Kidnappers, they might not have a target. I was kidnapped on highway on my way from Adamawa to Abuja, along Kaduna to in between Kaduna and Nasarawa. In between Kaduna and Nasarawa. So, at just 9 o'clock, we thought it was a security checkpoint. They blocked us. We were waiting to see either they will call us to this to just say like, we just hear like that. From there, everybody, they were, the problem here is the number of these terrorists or criminals will surprise you. Did they really inform themselves to come there? They are in large number. Everybody is grabbing for himself. One will catch 3, 4, one will have 10, one will have 20 people. They station us in groups as commodity. In fact, it is good at times to disguise when traveling. Actually, I was not looking as traditional leader when I was driving. Despite having some cabs, some braces they took from the car, but they mistaken me for a driver, and I claim not to be even the real driver. I claim to be the painter that just assists the man. They were trying to trace where is the chief. They say maybe some of the group have taken it as part of their own. So when they say, when they tap 20 million on me, I say, please, if you want to kill me, use gun, don't use knife on me. They were very furious and saying, are you the one to decide for us what to do with you? I said, why would you just call, how can a painter, me and my family get 20 million? Yeah, you just want to kill me, I know. They did not talk to me again. They concentrate on other people. If you are too handsome and you are too fresh, that is a problem. I'm telling you, one Igbo man just car. The guy was very fresh. His hair was glittering. I'm telling you, they were asking for 50 million. So, in fact, even other people are congratulating those ones that hold that one because they consider that these people have knowledge. No one talked to me again as I said I'm a painter. They have to finish with others. They consider me as one of those this thing. They say, okay, they just name me, Baba Painter, do you have 2 million naira? I say, how can I, where can I? And if you are not important to your society, is it we that will be very important to us? So we struggle. I beg. The letter said, Baba Painter, bring 1 million. Mistakenly, my people respond in time. Then they say, so they love you. They say, lie, I have to 2 million. Then we start pleading. At last, they collected 1.3. Even if it is your enemy, you will not like your enemy to be in the hands of kidnappers. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the only country we have. We don't have any country than this. This is the only pride we have. This thing did not end. The house that I spent 9 years building in the village was brought down as a result of insecurity in just a day. I have to start it again. Why are we in this situation? That is the question. The question, why suddenly Nigerians change, more especially the northern part of this country is becoming something different, unpredictable, or you cannot even imagine. We used to be the most hospitalized people. We used to be the most caring people. We used to be the people that sacrifice for people. But why now? Why now? What is really happening? My research as a prince, one that was born into that type of family, I realized that there is negligence by the society, negligence by the democratic base government. It started when the traditional institution was cut off from security teams. Before coming of even our colonial masters, it was the traditional institution that managed the society, and everybody was there were not much dispute. But today, this traditional institution, the society considers them as people that owns everything, so let them be pushed aside. No traditional leader that can ask questions, who is this man going? Where is he coming from? I saw him yesterday and today. Push out the history. One cannot no longer ask that type of question, because even his village head or his emir was handicapped. The traditional institutions are handicapped. We are the only institution that are still sacrificing for this great country selflessly. I can say it with all manner of seriousness. In our country, today, I was discussing with one of the village heads in Isa, local government, Sokoto State. I swear to Almighty God, they say there are many communities that cannot go to farm unless you pay due. If you didn't pay, it is the people in that society that will report you to the bandits. Because of they don't have alternative. No one can come to them. Those people at work governing them indirectly. We are just assuming they are part of us, but they are governed by this thing. In that Zamfara, I'm telling you, naming ceremony, you cannot celebrate without approval from the terrorists. What are we talking in our fatherland, in our country? So, and today, we find ourselves as leaders. What can we do? Yes, as I said, it is being agreed. We settle disputes. Our prayers here is this: if the society or the government can do this, I pray that to create another arm of government, traditional institution as the fourth arm of government, I think it will be a very excellent one. Many developed countries have done that and they are achieving. If that is not okay, let the traditional institution be merged with judiciary. So far, it's all about settling disputes. So far, the hope lies on us, because we do what everybody expects from us, and everybody agrees that we are doing it very well. Or if the margin might not be this thing. The customary, before now, customary courts and area courts are under traditional institution. It is those courts that they use in order to checkmate suspected movements and individuals. Let them be returned to traditional institutions. I think it will be very good.
Kidnapping, actually, some of the background information I have, my friend, my brother, Professor Andrew Madaki actually provided those background information about the problem of kidnapping in Nigeria. You will agree with me that kidnapping has emerged as a pervasive and deeply troubling issue in Nigeria, causing a formidable threat to the security and well-being of its citizens. It is very clear that because of kidnapping, people cannot drive freely now from Abuja to Kaduna, cannot drive freely now from Abuja to Lokoja, cannot drive freely from one destination to another because of what? Fear of being kidnapped. So over the past decades, the country has witnessed a surge in incidents of abduction, with both rural and urban communities grappling with the consequences of these escalating matters. With all these problems, as a country, we have a government issue. But the government will not just sit down and watch the problems. As a result, we have the traditional law enforcement agencies that have been putting in their best to see that they come to town with the problem of kidnapping and other security challenges and prevent it from further escalation. So traditional law enforcement strategies, while crucial, have demonstrated limitations in effectively curbing this complex challenge. They tried their best. They have been trying and they are still trying. We can't say that they are not doing anything. But it is clear and evident that there are some limitations. There are some gaps in what they do. There are some gaps in what they do. So this presentation basically revolves around trying to identify those gaps and to see what can we do at various levels, especially at the level of communities, at our various communities, to come to terms with this particular critical problem of insecurity in Nigeria. Kidnapping, as you are all aware, has to do with taking away of a person by force, because he didn't call somebody and say, please come and take me away. You understand? You are taken by force. And if someone does that, it means the person is a criminal. Because some people say we have exceptional cases where somebody would ask some people to kidnap him for him to get money from somebody. He is kidnapped as a victim to connive with the kidnappers, whatever they get, so that they can share it among them. So we have cases like that. But our concern is taking somebody forcefully, threats or deceit. You can see the idea of the one of the cards. Someone can deceive you that he is kidnapped, but he is not kidnapped. With the intent to cause him or her to be detained against his or her will. This is done for economic reasons, like rightly mentioned, kidnapping for ransom. Majorly is for ransom. But there are other reasons, rituals and other socio-political reasons. But the major one we are very much concerned about at the moment is the kidnapping for ransom. It's a major problem now. So like I said earlier, the law enforcement agencies have been putting in their best. But there are some gaps. And I have this information for you. While traditional law enforcement responses remain crucial, of course it's very crucial, the evolving nature of kidnapping incidents and the adaptability of criminal networks have exposed critical gaps in the effectiveness of foreign strategies. A number of studies have revealed that we need to go beyond the idea of reacting to this problem. We have what we call reactive approach, and we have proactive approach. And it is evident that the effort and the activity of law enforcement is reactive to this phenomenon. They only come when they have an information that Mr. A or Mr. B is kidnapped. If there is no any incident in a particular area, they don't have, they will not actually mount any patrolling activity or whatever. So it means then to say that it is only when we have an information, when they have a signal that something like this happened, that's when they go to it. But we are saying that doing that alone will not solve the problem. If you want to address the problem, you don't look at the problem. You should also look at the drivers of the problem. Because if you only address the problem at the moment and refuse to address the driver, it means you continue to mount, you go to invest your resources, both human and material, on that, because you fail to address the critical foundation of the problem. And where do we get the foundation? Is a society, is a community. Where we come from. Recent studies by Smith 2002, Ibrahim 2021 underscore the limitations of the active measures and emphasize the need for a more proactive. By proactive it means let's do something to make sure it does not take place in the first place. We shouldn't wait for it to happen before we act. Preventive and community-driven approach. This analysis from these particular authorities highlights the urgency of engaging communities in active stakeholders in the fight against kidnapping, capitalizing on their local knowledge network and shared commitments to security. This tells you a great deal that community is where each and every one of us come from. Nobody comes from the bush. All of us live within and among a community. And in our various communities, in our various settlements, we have leadership, just like the first speaker said. And in those communities, the members of these various communities, they have deep knowledge of these particular problems. They are the ones affected by the problems, and to a large extent, they will tell you how did incident A happen. They will tell you what is happening over time. They will tell you their experiences and their knowledge about the situation in their respective communities. So recent authorities in the field, among stakeholders, international organizations, realize the fact that we need to go beyond the reactive provisions. We need to go beyond the law enforcement agencies. And that's why nowadays you hear this idea of security is what? Everybody's business. If you see, don't keep quiet, talk. It's everybody's business. But what do you think at this level of community we can do? What do you think are those elements, are those peculiarities, are those potentials that a community has? And it can offer in trying to come to town and provide remedial measures in managing the problem of kidnapping, with particular reference to Nigeria. One of the key factors is what we call understanding the community perspectives. Understanding the community perspectives. Communities in Nigeria, particularly those directly affected by the sort of kidnapping, possesses invaluable insight into the intricate dynamic of their local environments. Of course, you can't come to my house and you tell me that you know my house better than me. Yes, it's not possible. They have the knowledge of the intricate dynamics of their local environments. They know what is happening in their various environments. And therefore, we need to relate with them. We need to appreciate them. We need to give them the opportunity to tell us their own experiences, to give us their knowledge about this particular situation that they have experienced over time. This insight includes understanding of the social network, community dynamics, and the ability to discern unusual patterns or behaviors within their midst. Anything that is happening in your community that is unusual, you know. A foreigner shouldn't tell you what is unusual in your community because he's a foreigner. If you want to know what is unusual in your community, you talk to the members of the community. And one of the fundamental things that we need to understand is that the current trend now in kidnapping is that they work with some members of the communities. They use them as informants. You can see the reason why the community must be involved. You can hardly get any successful kidnapping operation without collaboration, without support from within the immediate community. Because the people that will come and kidnap you, they have never seen you. Most of the people have never seen you. They don't know you. But they will have been given information, detailed information about you. Somebody may be somewhere living with you, maybe even relative to you, giving the information about your direction and the whole there. This is one reason why we must go back to it. We must sit down. We shouldn't fold our hands and always blame the government. We also have our own roles to play. Because it is our own community. But conclusively, the role of communities in mitigating the kidnapping crisis in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized or overstated. Community-based solutions leverage local knowledge, immediate environment, build social capital, and empower residents to actively contribute to their own safety. In as much as you want to do it, if you are incapacitated, you can't do anything. So you need to empower them. As Nigeria endeavors to tackle this pressing issue, recognizing and harnessing the agency of communities offers a pathway towards a more secure and resilient nation. The integration of community-based solutions into broad anti-kidnapping strategies holds the potential for sustained impact and positive transformation at grassroots level.
Two things are very important that has come up over and over again. We need collaboration between the law enforcement agencies and the traditional rulers. We need to involve them in the system. And this is something which is very truthful and an honest conversation we must have as Africans and Nigerians. The way the West handles certain things is different from how we handle things here. When you come to see an elder, you bring gifts, you pay homage. If you expect these elders and traditional rulers to at least respond to you and help with security and solving issues, it doesn't hurt to at least do something, incentivize them. Like Sarkin said about the Gombe state government. Also in Adamawa, I think in 2019, the SSG of the state had a scheme like that where the ward heads, district heads, and the traditional chiefs, anybody who comes to your neighborhood, you have a register, you write down the names. And so that way you know everybody moving around. But we also need to be able to protect people who are willing to give information to law enforcement agencies just so that they aren't attacked. Until recently, we are talking about kidnapping issue. Until recently, Nigeria was mostly concerned with corruption, armed robbery, and so many other social vices. Until 2007 to 2008, when the issue of kidnapping comes into being.
I have here some of the categorization of kidnapping. We have domestic kidnapping. Most often it is associated with the intra-family, within the family. We have that one. We have the political kidnapping, which is aimed at drawing the attention of the government so that the government should react. We also have the predatory kidnapping, which this particular kidnapping is associated with what? With sex. Influencing the same one, motivated by loss of for sex with the victim. And we can clearly see it during the adoption of our women from schools. Mostly they are being just used for sex. We also have the profit or ransom kidnapping. And this particular kidnapping, it has some other subtypes being divided into categories, which is mainly the issue that we are facing today, the profit and the ransom. And within that, we have also a category that falls under that express kidnapping. For example, we have the express. They will look at you and then they will take you to where, they will quickly take you to where there's ATM. Or you have some other valuable documents that they can easily take it from you. We have also the kidnapping for ransom, generally for the vulnerable people, like you, the traditional chiefs. They look at you, how you are being occupied in the society, and once they look at you, your community will not leave you behind, because definitely they have to rally around you, and that's what really happened to our chief here. When he said, this 1,000, and the way they quickly responded, that shows that the community are behind you. We'll also look at, before they do this kidnapping, they must have studied you. Lord, examined your own contact, communications, and the way how you move around before they will do. We also have types of kidnapping that has to do with revenge. Some other people kidnap because you must have offended them. So let them kidnap a person in order.
I wish our dear president, late President Yaradua, never died. Because when you see the kind of magic he employed to solve the problem of kidnapping in the South, it never happened in the North. Never happened in the North. It was something that was prevalent in the Niger Delta area to address their own neglect. But suddenly it starts spreading like wildfire to the North. The North has about 261 borders, 124 unmanned. Sorry, unmanned. It is 137 that are unmanned, and then we have cross-border criminals. In the North, it's open like a wide field. I school there, right from Borno to Uzo, to Kaduna, and so on. If you go into the interior, it's just open. People move freely, without fear. But these cross-border criminals come in, abduct people, and take them across. And they have constricted the freedom of our people, affecting even the culture of our people. They live with fear. And just as he said, somebody in Sokoto State said that you have to pay ransom, even if you are doing a naming ceremony or marriage ceremony, you have to seek for permission. But they say some of our leaders will never agree that this kind of things happen when they speak of television. And without the communities, the traditional rulers being involved, it can never happen. When I was doing my research, I went in Zafra, I went to a traditional ruler because I know that I must be introduced to him before I can do anything. And in those days, when somebody is a new person entering the village, in fact, within seconds, the traditional ruler, wherever he is, already aware. And there's nothing you can do without him. But the government has failed to recognize this institution as one of the prime means of solving kidnapping.
Thank you very much. Kidnapping is an issue that affects everyone in Nigeria, whether you are rich or poor, and it's a problem which we are actively dealing with. Yes, the law enforcement agencies are doing their best to curb the issues, but we can't fix problems without getting to the root cause of it. And traditional rulers and young people are major stakeholders in the society. Together with the United Kingdom's National Crime Agency, we've been working on several stakeholder discussions to find out from people what the root causes and problems are and their own solutions. It's important to get the community involved. We can't always wait for government and law enforcement agencies to handle things. We need to be able to contribute and collaborate to ensure that we fix this problem together. But we can't sit down in our offices and our positions of privilege, writing reports and recommendations for people. It's important to get everyone round the table to have such conversations. So we've had one of these conversations with the media. We've also had trainings with law enforcement agencies across board. And now today we had this conversation with traditional leaders. And later today we're also having a conversation with the youths. Now all of this will come, will end up in a report where we can present to the Office of the National Security Advisor. We've also been having conversations with the National Counterterrorism Center, where they are actively working on finding solutions and finding ways to fight kidnapping in the country. And so it's extremely important for all hands to be on deck, especially as we are in this celebratory period. A lot of people become targets, and so it's important that we have this conversation here and now. So, Decipher Technologies, our organization, we are the conveners who are responsible and contracted by the National Crime Agency to implement a communication strategy in fighting kidnapping in Nigeria. And some of our partners include the Nigerian Police Force, the National Counterterrorism Center. Now, why this is important is that it is for Nigerians by Nigerians. It's not a situation where a foreign government or some funders or donors are coming with their own solution. They have come to us to say, how can we fix this problem? How can we communicate this better with the people? And so the Nigerian Police Force currently has jingles on radios. They have newspaper ads with the call to action, emergency numbers for people to be able to reach them in the event of issues like this. There's also the Nigerian Police Force Rescue Me application, where people can download this app and a toll-free number where they can call in the event of emergency. It's important that we communicate and let members of public know that we have this available. Let's use them. My name is Andrew Agbo Madaki. I'm an adjunct professor of cybersecurity and intelligence engineering at the Ontario College of Management and Technology. I'm also the CEO of Decipher Technologies, a Nigerian company by Nigerians for Nigerians.